Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa. Now, we had the recent leak of the Sombra image, which we honestly 100% believe right now is the model of Sombra. So what we're going to do in this video is speculate as to what Sombra's abilities are going to be. There have been a ton of these videos on YouTube, but I tell you something, none of them have had the ability to look at Sombra, because this gives us a ton of information. If we're willing to go deep, we will find information on Sombra, and I wouldn't be surprised if what follows in this video doesn't actually turn out to be pretty close to some of Sombra's abilities or what she's actually going to do. Now, as ever, I want you guys to speculate as well, so go crazy in the comments below. Let me know what you think Sombra is going to do, what her abilities will be, her class type or whatever, based off the image that you can see on the screen right now. So, she has a slender female figure. This probably means she's going to be fast moving and hard to hit. This indicates that, well, she's probably not a tank, you see, because all tanks in Overwatch have got massive silhouettes. You know, look at Roadhog, look at D.Va, look at any tank. They're all massive. They're really, really massive. See, that kind of goes with the game's design because they've got large health pools, and that's kind of offset by their large models, so they're kind of easier to hit. It's also, you know, if somebody's a massive target, you know that they've got a lot of health. It's going to take a lot of sort of damage to take them down, so to have a very slender target being a tank, it kind of doesn't make any sense. This is, of course, if the model of Sombra that we're seeing right now is her primary model. Maybe she could be controlling some form of Omnic on the battlefield. You know, if you look at the model of D.Va, that's not her primary model. She spends most of her time in the mech. Could Sombra be a similar type of hero? Now, the only thing against this I've got is I know Blizzard don't really like copying mechanics from other heroes, so to have another hero piloting another mech might be a little bit too much, especially if it's for, you know, her primary state would be in a mech with D.Va. That would be kind of a bit weird, although she's kind of controlling like an Omnic. I mean, another crazy bit of speculation is maybe Sombra can hide somewhere on the map. So she goes somewhere, she sort of breaks out a laptop, so to speak, and she hacks a Omnic, which comes onto the field. And Sombra is stealth, and if you find Sombra, you kill her, which I think is very similar to the way Abathur works in Heroes of the Storm. So maybe that could be a way that she works, but I don't know. I don't really want to go for that, because I think hiding somewhere on the map is counterproductive to the way the game's designed, because the game moves from area to area. You could kind of just sit out in the middle of nowhere and never really be found. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm more inclined to believe that, based off this image, she's going to be a type of offensive flanker. Her clothing also looks quite flexible, so that would indicate that she can move quick, or that she'll probably have a higher than average mobility. But wait, what is this gauntlet about? Now, we know Symmetra's got a similar kind of thing. She builds constructs out of hard light and all of that jazz. But if you actually look a bit closer, both gauntlets are exactly the same. Now, in the image, she's got, like, her left hand is up to the screen, like, look at my gauntlet, and then she's got her SMG in her right hand. But if you look at her hand, both gauntlets, gloves, whatever you want to call them, they're identical. Now, we know Sombra's a hacker, so she probably uses these gauntlets as her method of infiltrating computer-based systems. So the question is, what the hell is she going to be hacking during the game? I mean, if she's hacking Omnics and robots, I guess, well, there's only Bastion and Zen, and I suppose you could maybe argue maybe she could infiltrate D.Va's mech, although that's not like AI. Same for Torbjorn's turret. Again, that's not any kind of Omnic-based AI, so maybe she can't. I don't know, but it would still have some sort of computer system, right? But that seems a little bit too niche, just being able to disrupt those abilities. So I don't think it's going to be that. So what exactly is she going to hack? Well, maybe the gauntlets allow her to interrupt enemy cooldowns on standard abilities. That could be kind of interesting, but I think that might be a little bit too boring. Maybe it also links into her ultimate, and maybe she could kind of block enemy ultimate use for a while. I don't know. We'll get onto that in a second, though, because I do want to talk a little bit more about blocking enemy ultimate use, but that could be something that she could do, because I think that would have absolutely severe ramifications when it comes to the game, in a good way, because being able to stop ultimate use, Overwatch is a game all about ultimates, so that would in itself be quite powerful, but I don't think it would be very fun to use. You just press a button, it's like, oh, now you can't use your ultimates. So we'll see about that. We also suspect that she'll have some form of stealth mechanic, so maybe the gauntlet sort of allows her to interrupt enemy heads-up displays, because we've all got a HUD. Maybe she kind of disrupts enemy visuals for a while, which allows her to sort of move away. But again, I don't think having something across the screen that like messes up your visuals, sort of like interference or static, is necessarily good game design, because that's going to annoy you. You know what I mean? That's not making her stealth. That's giving everybody a major advantage when she does that. So I don't know. Maybe that could be her ultimate. Again, that's sort of wild speculation. What is clear, though, that these gauntlets are probably a major part of her kit. Now, what are these on her head? Are they like cybernetic implants, or are they fancy hair clips? I'm getting some serious Matrix vibes off these. It's almost like she's going to have like a jack on the base of a skull, and she's going to like jack herself into, I don't know, computer systems. But we've never seen anything like that in terms of Overwatch lore. But I mean, whatever. Maybe that'll be a thing, or maybe I'm just going a bit crazy, and maybe actually they're just fancy metallic hair grips. Although I don't know why she'd have hair grips there, because that's shaven, that part of her head, so that must be some sort of implant. It's gotta be. It has to be. Tell me it's an implant. Oh my god. Now look at a weapon. That is an Uzi SMG style weapon. So that's going to indicate short-range combat ability for sure, right? These weapons are not long-range, they're short-range. So I kind of believe that ties in with the idea that she's some form of close-range, low HP, high maneuverability assassin-type hero. Maybe another flanker-style hero. And it would certainly lean away from the idea that she's definitely some form of tank, because I'm kind of going away from that altogether, unless this is not her primary state, unless her primary state is her operating some sort of omnic war machine or something, which I really want it to be, but I don't think it will. So this is a good time now to just go into crazy speculation from me. Now, this is kind of what I want Sombra to be, and this sort of doesn't really take any inspiration off the image itself. I mean, it might do. She's a hacker, she hacks omnics, whatever, you know, that kind of thing, but I would really like her to be the first hybrid style hero. So what that means is that she can sort of change her class. She's not a dedicated offense hero, or she's not a dedicated tank hero or defense hero. She can sort of change through what she does in the game. Now, she's a hacker, right? So hackers hack things. They kind of change their environment to sort of assist them in any given situation. So I think giving her an ultimate, which just disrupts enemy ultimate use, like I said a bit earlier on, if that's what Blizzard actually do, I mean, we don't know for sure. I mean, if that's what Blizzard do, then they do that. I think that could be interesting for the game, but I think it would be pretty boring to use. What I want to see, right, now I think this might be overpowered, like you wouldn't even believe, but I want to see her be able to call in one of those massive Omnic tanks that you see on Iconvolt, and for a short while, she can like pilot this thing and just become this super frontline offensive tank murderer. I mean, it might be a bit too OP, because what I've got in my head here is Bastion ulting, but like a super version of the Bastion ult, which I think just might be a bit ridiculous, but it would look awesome. Imagine that. That would be absolutely awesome. Holy hell. Now, if she is a squishy offensive hero, having an ultimate that totally changed the playstyle, so she goes from this squishy sort of, I don't know, Tracer-esque assassin harassing kind of flanker to this massive beefy tank, that might be like, whoa, so, you know, imagine the pushes you could do with that. You could charge the Sombra and then turn into the tank and just go crazy. I mean, maybe Sombra's ulti is not actually a timed ulti. Maybe it just changes her state and she turns into a different type of, like, she does become a tank, starts off as an offensive hero, becomes a tank, can drop her ultimate back to an offensive hero. That would mix up the game in such a ridiculous way, but I think it would be a bit too ridiculous, because you think about it, Overwatch is a game about swapping your hero, changing what you're doing to combat the enemy team and to work with what's going, like whatever map you're playing on. If you're able to do that without actually returning to the spawn and changing your hero, that might make you a bit too powerful, because what would happen there is you could go from, you know, if you had like a Zarya and a Reinhardt on your team, and you had a Sombra that was in her offensive mode, then suddenly she uses her ultimate, which turns her into a tank. Then you've got 3 tanks there in the team, and that's like, you've just changed into a triple tank build. The enemy team might not have a Reaper, so it might be like they might have to run back to the spawn to get the Reaper, so I don't think we're going to see that, but I think that would be super interesting if that was the case. So it will probably be, if I say it's probably be, if my crazed, what I actually want Sombra to be turns out to be true, and she does call in a massive Omnic tank, it'll probably just be a timed thing if that happens. But then again, maybe that's too similar to what Bastion already does. My god, this is ridiculous. But before I end the video, I was going to end the video, but I've not even covered what I think her standard abilities will be. Holy hell. For her standard abilities, I reckon that she's probably, I don't know, maybe she drops a short-range deployable stealth field. So this would give her a bit more survivability when she's sort of on the front line, or she could kind of hide people in the field. Or you could drop the field down and make the enemy team believe there's people there, so they maybe waste abilities trying to fire into there to get some sort of AoE splash damage. What I would really like a gauntlet to do, though, is be like a type of taser. I think this would be awesome if it was like a chain lightning, short-range sort of AoE, where if you cast it at people, well, I say cast it, if you fire it at people, it sort of jumps to maybe 2 or 3 targets and stuns them for only a brief second, maybe half a second or something like that. Gives her enough time to get out of the combat, or for people to sort of follow up, or maybe you could like interrupt ultimates with it. That'd be awesome if that's a thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if that actually was something. I know we've got McCree's flashbang right now, And that can AoE stun people if you throw it into a group of people. But I just think having like a chain lightning thing, oh my god, that would be awesome. And I reckon that she will be, well, her SMG will probably be high damage, short range. Because it's an SMG, and I reckon she'll be able to move a little bit faster than normal. And that's what I reckon her kit will be. Oh yes. Now you probably just realised why I'm not a game designer, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm an idiot and I enjoy Overwatch, and I would love to see if some of those sort of things make it into the game. But I want you guys to go crazy. What the hell do you think Sombra will be? We're pretty much on the verge of being able to play Sombra if these leaks are true. You can tell by the excitement in my voice. I cannot wait to play this hero. Oh my god, and not to mention all the Halloween stuff, but Sombra, it's been so long, like the whole ARG, the lead up to this. Oh my god. I mean, we're not even sure if these leaks are true, but they must be. They look so real. They've got to be. If not, it's one of the greatest hoaxes ever in gaming history. Right, and just go crazy, guys, in the comments below. I want to read what you think Sombra will be. I've given you my thoughts in sort of incomprehensible style detail because I'm so excited. Holy hell. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been StyleOsa. This is Unit Lost. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and do follow me on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/UnitLost, which is a wonderful place to be, and of course where I live stream. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Toodaloo.